And good evening, everyone. A little bit of a technical snafu to get me started for the day, but all all sorted now, all ready to go. So, welcome, welcome. If you don't know who I am yet and you just stumbled across this stream, I'm Rod Gamble. I'm career coach Rod, and I help clinical professionals transition into digital health careers that actually pay them what they're worth. Um, Tonight, I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound crazy. So, we're living through the exact same moment now in healthcare that made me absolutely tons of cash in 2009, and most of you are missing it. I swear, it's exactly the same. It feels the same. So drop something in the comments if you've been hearing about AI in healthcare, but you're not sure what it means for you. You're not sure, is it real? Is this something that's actually going to affect my life? Do I have to become a programmer to do it? That sort of thing. Today, I'm going to share why smart clinical professionals are positioning themselves now for what I'm calling the AI gold rush. And while this feels exactly like a meaningful use deja vu all over again. If you don't know what that is, I'll tell you in a minute. So here's my story. Back in 2009, I watched all the different professionals out there, clinical professionals, complain about EHR systems. They're just clunky. They take time away from patients, this sort of thing. Well, by 2009, I had been already in the digital health world for a while. I was already set. I was already positioned. And then poof, it happened. It became mandatory. That's what I saw happening that other people didn't think was going to happen or couldn't see it coming. But I thought it was inevitable, and then it was. Digital health became mandatory. It became absolutely required. And when I say absolutely required, I mean the government in the United States, CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Yes, for those of you outside of the US, I said CMS, and then I used two words that had an M in them. That's not an error. That's the way it actually works. They made it mandatory because they said if you don't use EHRs, which is what we call them in the States, if you don't use EHRs, that's fine, but you won't get paid. So, of course, everybody and their dog has to jump on getting EHR systems, right? And at that point, I'd been doing the work already for a few years. I had the experience. So when it became necessary, I was right there ready to go with all of the experience anyone could possibly need. That's what I saw that others missed, that this wasn't going to be optional for long, and it was inevitable. And so I positioned myself really as a bridge between clinical realities and digital systems. That single insight earned me so much money. In one consulting project, so in my first month in consulting, I earned like $15,000 as my first, it was $15,000 in my first full-time freelance work, and it was so much money, and I was preparing the invoice for it, and I thought, oh, no way, there's got to be an error. Something's going to go wrong. Nope, nothing went wrong. A year and a half later, it was still going at the same rate, and I just was dumbfounded, right? I couldn't believe that this kind of like income was real for clinical people. And the changes didn't stop there. They started to spread. So it spread worldwide. That mastering those changes there in the United States helped to prepare me for a global expansion. The NHS here in the UK, that's 90% of all healthcare. They had no digital systems. Right now, only half of the hospitals out there have a full and proper electronic patient record. The other half don't. And that's just looking at the UK, right? It's the same across Europe. It's the same across most of the developed world, Australia, everything else. So my consulting work went international because the digital transformation became a global wave, and I rode the wave. But right now, I'm watching the exact same pattern unfold with AI. Healthcare organizations, some of them right now are experimenting. Some are going into AI grudgingly. Others are doing it enthusiastically. Yeah, Doesn't matter what you're doing. It's going to be mandatory. It's going to happen. Right now, this year, the connected healthcare market is worth 181 billion, but it's predicted that it's going to reach $1 trillion by 2033. So in between here and there, we're looking at a 24% growth rate. It's not speculation. This sort of stuff is happening now. And some of the reasons behind that are regulatory. So CMS in the US is exploring AI performance metrics. Insurance companies are requiring AI-powered clinical decision support so that they can approve the claim and actually pay the bill. The WHO just launched global AI governance standards, and the UK is the first country to join into these global AI digital health standards. Those standards, basically, if you access and become a master of them now, you are OG inside of AI for digital health. You are one of the early adopters. You are one of the people who were there from the start. You know what you're doing. For the next 10 to 20 years, people refer to you as the truth, the touchstone. That's where you want to be. So based on a meaningful use timeline that I observed, starting around that really hit the fan in 2009, we're 2 or 3 years away from legislation that makes AI adoption financially necessary. So you don't have to adopt it, but if you don't, you're not going to get paid. So the window for people like us is open now. Now is the time to crawl through that window and get to the other side where they hide the money, and that's where they hide the big influence, your ability to actually influence and form the right way to do things clinically, right? So here's the secret sauce. The AI companies, they're building incredibly sophisticated algorithms, but they're struggling with fundamental problems. They don't understand healthcare workflows, patient safety, or real-life clinical decision-making. You've got all of those in spades. That's easy for you. You know the clinical knowledge that AI developers need but can't acquire without going through your years of experience. So they're focused on technical capabilities, but you understand the human element that makes technology actually useful. It's like working for a car company. You're not a mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer, but you're the one who sits down and says, the seat is uncomfortable. No one's going to like this. And hey, how about we put the clutch in the same place every time? Those kind of things. The most successful professionals during meaningful use previously, they weren't computer science grads. They were clinical professionals who mastered tools. The tools were created by programmers who knew nothing about real-life clinical needs. So the real money, the best money, the most influence, the most freedom, that all came from just being a bridge, which is what I just in my bones knew that we needed people to do. So I got lucky. I guessed right. But now, having gotten lucky before, I see it coming again. So get on board the train, right? There's plenty of opportunities out there. There's implementation consulting. So healthcare organizations pay premium rates for people like us who can guide AI deployment without disrupting patient care. And Epic, one of the big EPR vendors, said that the biggest problem they've got with AI adoption is project management. It's talking to the doctors, nurses, therapists, clerks, that sort of thing. It's actually just the humans. This is what you do on the side while you're taking care of patients now. And then from a safety perspective, AI regulation is increasing. Organizations need to comply with that, and they need clinical professionals who understand both patient safety and AI risk, so you can help them make sense of this. All of these challenges are your opportunities. And then when AI does become mandatory, everybody's got to be trained on it. People need to actually be able to use it, and these are not going to be programmers and computer experts and that sort of thing. They're going to be regular clinical professionals. And they're going to need you to be the bridge between all this new stuff and their real world. Right now, virtual nursing has just jumped from number 4 to number 1 for advancement for healthcare redesign in 1 year. Organizations are moving from cautious to having real risk tolerance for AI initiatives. So in the next 6 months, this is what you should do. I mean, this is how you're going to succeed. This is how you're going to get yourself properly placed for this AI rush that's coming into healthcare. The next 6 months, get AI literacy. Develop yourself, develop your own skills, understand concepts like machine learning and predictive analytics at a practical level. You don't have to do the math. Volunteer for AI pilots at your current organization. Just jump in, both feet, go for it. After that, for in months 6 to 18, so basically for another year, experience building. Seek consulting projects, combining clinical expertise with AI implementations. Start writing or speaking. Tell people what you're doing, even though you don't know exactly all of the details. That's what they want to hear. They want to know. And then after that, after the 18 months, it's all marketing positioning. Or market positioning. You establish yourself as a thought leader inside of clinical AI, and you build consultancies based on AI implementations for clinical people. So there is a factor of urgency here. The early adopter benefits are incredible right now. Organizations implementing AI are voluntarily willing to invest in proper training. Once it becomes mandatory, yeah, we'll see the same thing that we saw in meaningful use. Implementations will become rushed, cost-focused, and not really good. Now is the good time. Now is the beginning of the salad days. And don't forget what this is going to do for you, right? It's going to change you from physical exhaustion, missed family events, night shifts, workplace hazards, to predictable schedules, remote work potentials, improved work-life balance. It's a shift. It's a huge change. And instead of helping 1 or 2 patients at a time, or maybe 5 or 6 in a shift, it's going to be thousands or even millions, because your work is going to be out there being consumed by the masses. The consulting rates for AI implementation expertise are already commanding premium pricing. I mean, in the States, we're talking $200 an hour, $300 an hour, and up. Out of the States, we're talking 900 pounds a day, 1,000 euros a day, these kinds of rates. It's already there, and it's growing at this moment. So the window for positioning yourself in AI is now. It's open, but it won't stay open forever. You have a choice. Watch from the sidelines as everyone else capitalizes on the incoming AI mandate, or position yourself now as a clinical professional who gets it, who gets both patient care and AI implementation stuff. I've got a free digital health career roadmap on my website, so you can go there after you've been there for like 30 seconds or a minute or something. It'll pop up and give you the option to get the free ebook. Or if you're on one of the platforms that supports direct messaging, just direct message me roadmap. I'll send it over. It's not a secret kind of thing. So follow me for more insights on clinical AI position, and share this with any clinical friends who need to hear the message. This AI revolution is your meaningful use moment. So it's not that I've made a bunch of money and I don't want you to. I don't want you to see the secret. It's quite the opposite of that. I've made a bunch of money off of this stuff. I want you to see the next wave that's coming, because, frankly, we need you in the trenches. When I work with history majors, communications majors, even technical majors, they don't get it. They don't understand any of the clinical stuff. How do I begin to explain sterile field to a guy who the last time he was in the hospital was when he was born, right? It's just not possible. So with this being your moment, don't miss the opportunity. Get in, get yourself trained, and become one of the originators, become one of the thought leaders. And don't worry, it's not going to be all the math and all of the programming that it takes to run AI. It's going to be all of the bridge for people who just don't get clinical stuff. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and direct message me. I'm not seeing any questions come over in the chat this evening. And I'll put some of this stuff back up on my my account, so people will get little snippets of it here and there. But thank you for joining tonight, because you got the whole thing. I'll see you guys next week, and it was great seeing you. Thanks. Bye for now.